Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Small Steps to Freedom. It feels really amazing to be able to say those words because I have not been uploading videos for the past month or so because life has been having me, imposter syndrome, burnout, everything. But I am back now and it feels so good to be sitting in front of this camera and engaging with you guys again. So today's video is a follow-up from my previous video where I talked about how I'm able to save 70% of my income month after month, and a lot of you found that information really valuable. So I thought, why not follow it up and share with you some of the investment accounts that I have where that money actually ends up every month in terms of my monthly investment strategy. But before I share with you my investment accounts, I'm curious to know where you are putting your money. Are you investing in a tax-free savings account, retirement annuity? Are you investing in property? What are you doing? Where are you investing your money? Let me know down in the comments below. So to kick things off, I want to highlight a couple of things that I did before I actually started investing, because I think they're very important in the whole investment journey, because like the saying goes, if you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. I'm not sure if those are the exact words, but hopefully you get what I'm trying to say. I wanted to make sure that when I started investing, I was doing it with the right foundation and with the right knowledge, right? So there's three things that I did in order to set myself up for success. So the first thing is I paid off all my debt, and at the time I only had credit card debt. So I paid off that debt and was able to free up that money to potentially invest in the future. And that's the beauty with paying off debt, is that once you've paid that debt off, you're able to use that money and redirect it to something more productive, like investing, right? And then the second thing that I did after I paid off my debt was to build up an emergency fund. And I think this is probably one of the steps that took the longest, because I built it up to 3 months worth of living expenses, which is quite a bit of money to save up. So I took time to actually save up that money. And the reason that I wanted to have that 3 months worth of living expenses was so that when I started investing, I wouldn't find myself in a situation where I needed money because of an emergency and was forced to go and withdraw from my investment prematurely, right? So I wanted to withdraw on my own terms, not because I'm forced to by the situation. So I saved up that 3 months worth of living expenses. So that was my second step. Now the third thing that I did happened while I was actually building up my emergency fund, which is I started to learn about investing. What is investing, how it works, the different assets, different asset classes, and all of that, right? So that when I actually decided to start investing, I would have the knowledge with me so that I would be able to, decide what investments I want and the kind of like my investment strategy and all of that good stuff. So I think those are really important steps to take before you start investing. Now let's actually get into the investment accounts that I have, right? Because this is why we're all here. So the very first investment account right at the top of my list really is like my favorite one, is my tax-free savings account. These are amazing, guys. Like, what argument can you come with against tax-free savings accounts? They're just incredible. They're such a great gift from the government. As the name implies, tax-free savings accounts are essentially tax-free investments. I don't know why they say savings, to be honest, because it's an investment account. On your investment, you'll never have to pay dividend income tax. You won't have to pay capital gains tax, and it really just frees up so much more of your profit for you and not for SARS, right? So you save a lot of money on tax. But that account has certain limitations, such as you can't invest more than 36,000 rands a year. Otherwise, whatever amount that you invest above that is going to be taxed at 40%, and no one wants to get taxed at 40%. So you want to make sure that if you are investing in a tax-free savings account that is within the limits. So those are the limits: 36,000 rands a year, as well as 500,000 rands in your lifetime. So what I do is I really try to make sure I am maximizing that tax-free savings account. So every single month I am putting away 3,000 rands into that account, so that by the time the financial year ends, I would have reached the limit of 36,000 rands and actually max out that account, meaning I'm actually taking full advantage of the tax-free benefit. But the one thing I really love about tax-free savings accounts as well, in terms of accessibility, is the fact that you don't need to have 3,000 rands a month to invest, right? In fact, when I started investing in a tax-free savings account, I was investing 250 rands into it, right? And that is nowhere close to putting 3,000 rands into it every single month. But I progressively increased it, because it was always my goal to be able to max it out, which I can now, so I'm doing it. If you're curious to know where my tax-free savings account is with, it's with Easy Equities, probably the lowest or the cheapest broker that you can have in South Africa, which is why I chose to have my tax-free savings account with them, right? And if you've never heard of Easy Equities, definitely recommend looking them up. They are so affordable. They make investing so much more accessible. You can actually start investing on Easy Equities with like 5 rand even. Just full disclaimer here, this is not a sponsored video, but if you would like to actually check Easy Equities out, I've left a link down in the description below that you can actually click on and explore and see what is happening on the Easy Equities world. And if you do decide to actually start investing with them, they literally give you 50 rands free when you start investing to kickstart your investment journey. And I'm just like, talk about making it easy to start, guys. So do check out the link down in the description below. So that's the very first investment account that I put my money in. Top of my list, I always try to make sure that I am maxing that out year after year. And then the second account that I have is a retirement annuity. Now the retirement annuity is a little bit of a weird fit in my investment strategy, because as you guys know, I want to retire quite early at the age of 35, but with a retirement annuity you can only access it when you are 55, right? So I won't be able to access it when I actually do retire, because I'm going to be retiring at such an early age. But the reason why I've still decided to have it as one of my investment accounts is I want to have that extra injection of money when I get to the age of 55, right? So when I retire 35, there's different investment accounts that are going to be carrying me through that whole period until I get to the age of 55 and have that extra boost of my retirement annuity. So my retirement annuity sits with 10x Investments. There are very few things that you can control with your retirement annuity. For example, the one thing I have control over, 2 things that I have control over are my contributions as well as the fees that I pay, which is why I'm with 10x Investments, because they have such low fees, right? As I said, my contributions are not a lot because it's not a big part of my whole financial freedom, early retirement goal per se, but I still have it because I want that injection of cash when I get to the age of 50 or 55. But I think to note about retirement annuities is that in terms of what you invest in, that is all prescribed, right? In terms of what percentage of your money goes to what. So this goes back to the regulation 28, which essentially gives us prescriptions, right? I'm just going to pop up a little thing here with all the specifications on how you can divide your assets in a retirement annuity. So there's not a lot of autonomy or control that you can have in terms of where you invest your retirement annuity is invested. And that's actually a part of the reason why they are not so popular. And then the third account that really carries most of my investments is my text brokerage account, right? So I spoke about the tax-free savings account, and in the tax-free savings account you don't pay any sort of tax, right? Except if you contribute over the allowed limit. So now on my brokerage account, this is where most of my money goes, because there's no real restrictions in terms of how much I can invest and what I can invest in. But I still choose to invest only in exchange traded funds, because I am a very big believer in not trying to pick the best performing stock or what I think is going to be the best performing stock, and instead actually betting on the whole world's economy is really what my investment strategy is. And that really shines through in the types of ETFs that I have in those different accounts. So this is where most of my money sits. Now, I know this video wasn't necessarily very in-depth in terms of what I'm investing in and why, but I hope it gave you an idea of how I think about my investment strategy and why I have the investment accounts that I have. I might do a follow-up again from this video so I can give you guys more precise and more, I don't know, in-depth insight into what I invest in. That is it for this video. As I said, I am back, which means more video uploads coming your way. So excited to share more content with you guys, and thank you so much for staying subscribed, for supporting me, supporting the channel, the journey. And here is to us building wealth. Now till I see you in my next video, bye.